Diamond Dental in Cedar Rapids, Streets Maintenance, the Oxyoke Inn in the Amanas, Premier Automotive in North Liberty, Diamond Dreams Sports Academy, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers 101 South Dubuque Street, downtown Iowa City, the Midtown Family Restaurants, Suple's Flowers, home of 1-800-800-ROSE, GT Carr and his crew at Suple's Building and Remodeling, Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip, Mike's E-Keys for cars. Got a testimonial about his work yesterday, Mike. They love you. Steve Anderson, Hawkeye Title and Settlement, and Patrick Eads, son Tyler, and everyone at Deary Brothers Ford on Mormon Trek. Here is Tom Suter and Pat Harty.
Kirk's on at 10:45. Oh, wait. No, there you go.
But the players may be sitting on the. They've been doing where they bring the three players up. Does it say when that is?
I didn't see that.
And I haven't talked to John yet today. Bonenkamp's over there covering it for us.
You wanted me to keep my eye on.
Yeah, just keep your eye and see.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it was earlier this morning. Of course, they were basically replaying yesterday's stuff.
Uh-huh.
And if I remember being there last year, I thought it started like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Now let me guess. The coaches were optimistic.
Yeah,
They're pleased with the work. The
coaches I did here and the players are all pretty optimistic. The players.
We don't get it.
You don't get the Big Ten Network?
No.
Wow. We're out here on an island.
No, we don't get the Big Ten Network.
Wow.
We used to, didn't we?
We used to, and then they changed. It's a long story.
No, we don't get it.
Let's keep her brief.
we don't get the Big Ten Network.
All right, we'll just have to. So, what do you think Kirk's going to say?
Kirk's going to say our off-season workouts have gone along as scheduled. So far, we've been staying pretty healthy.
I know where I can monitor it. It's going to speak like at 10:45,
Yeah.
you said?
Yeah.
I can monitor it on YouTube TV on my phone.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And you could monitor it on that computer on YouTube TV.
You want me to?
Well, you could, and then we could broadcast it.
And as long as that sounds, it's just an hour and 15 minutes from now. Because I went from being 15 minutes late to 10 minutes early.
Well, I can't.
Due to the chaos of our nation.
Yeah. Well,
it's chaos.
It's a mess.
Chaos. That's the word I use to describe it. Chaos. I just like the word anyway.
It is a good word.
It is. But, so much of Jerry Nadler goes a long way.
Yeah. Much of all of them goes
True. I thought by the end of it, his pants are going to be over his head because they seem to rise with his
Who was that? Who was that comedian that used to do that? That he talked about his father. That all he was a head and pants.
I know who you're talking about. I do not remember the name though, because as the older
that would be Jeff Altman.
Yeah.
Jeff okay. Yeah, the older his father got, the higher his pants went, and all it was his belt line and then his neck, right?
Yeah. Well, you guys, I could get you. Are you having a problem, Suter?
Well, it's just there's so many.
Did you go to live?
Why do we have to do it now?
Not at all.
It's an hour away.
Yeah.
We'll take a break before we have to do it.
Oh, that's true.
Live. Okay. See, I don't have YouTube TV. So
go to live and then scroll down.
I still don't have it either.
And you'll come to Big Ten. Why?
Because I was explaining to him the 2 times my buddy's been able to do it. He's married with 3 kids. His wife works.
It's not your fault.
Well, I said that to him last night when he called me at 10:30. I just got the, and Mediacom still, I haven't gotten the threatening. I still haven't paid him yet, but my bill's only 5 days overdue. So, because and hopefully in the next day or two. I mean, that's. But when you're married, you work full time, and have 3 kids, I guess it takes up a lot of time, especially when they're between the ages of like 3 and 10.
Yeah, they want to be fed and crap.
So what do you look? Are you?
All right, I got it. I'm on Big Ten Live.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So, just keep looking down if they show, the 3 Iowa players, because I'm not sure when today's live stuff started, but I think Kirk was the first.
Just click on it, and
we'll be able to.
And you'll be able to pot it up on the board.
It's kind of weird not. It's kind of weird not being there.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that say sign off. So this must be what's on now. Big Ten football in 60.
Yes.
So obviously it hasn't started today yet.
That's right.
Okay.
We'll just click on that and it'll just keep going.
God, I remember the old days. You'd get each coach for 15 minutes in the podium, then you'd get them at the side afterwards for all the important stuff. Then the next day, starting at like 8 in the morning, you'd get the players at round tables and whatever. Back when I was younger, going over there in 20s, that 8 in the morning was really early. I mean, really early.
It says sign up to watch. So
We are signed up. Are you under Steve?
I clicked on YouTube TV.
Somebody put it off of my. I'll get it on.
During break.
Well, here, there's got to be a login, doesn't there?
Is it on KCJJ at the top, or is it on Steve?
Nothing.
It's not even signed in. Somebody signed me out.
Evidently.
Okay.
It looks like you're outside of the United States.
Somebody signed me out.
Something is not right here, yes.
Yeah, somebody signed me out.
Why would somebody do that?
Because people want to get into crap and screw around with crap.
But why would that involve signing you out or something?
I don't know why they'd sign me out, but they signed me
Well,
out.
you know it's not me because I wouldn't know how to sign you out.
That's,
I seriously wouldn't. I'd
well,
go down.
you've never,
Okay, Pat, your goal is to sign out, Captain. I wouldn't know how. I'd be like, okay, what do I do?
Well, oh no, there's a little KCJJ
Uh-oh.
emblem.
click on that and go to Steve.
Here we go. The light is starting to flicker at the end of the.
Is there a Steve?
You think the listeners are enjoying this?
I'm sure they are.
I don't care.
Are you're at the point where you don't care? This long into the business?
I'm at the point that I don't care.
What about the Hawks?
That
This
was
is a
years
Hawks
ago.
Fanatic segment.
Well, okay, I'm going to come in there. I'm going to get it on, and you guys talk.
All right.
Okay, sounds good.
What,
Sounds good.
what do you want to talk about?
We could talk about the Hawkeyes.
Okay. Well,
Nobody's playing right now.
What about what about no? The Big Ten Media Day started yesterday,
Yep.
and it's weird. USC and UCLA are both there today with Iowa. Isn't that just weird?
It is weird.
I mean, think about if you're USC, UCLA, and it's no knock on the Midwest, but I don't know where they hold their annuals. At Vegas?
I think so.
Just think that now you're going halfway across the country to Indianapolis. It's just a different. But the annual event is sort of what their whole life is going to be like now.
That's
They're going to
right.
be traveling so much to the Midwest and the East. For every other conference game, it's going to be weird watching those four teams move in.
Well, yesterday there was just a gigantic duck floating down.
I did see that. I thought that was funny.
I did too.
That's good PR.
I thought that was
applaud
great.
the Oregon, their marketing department. What do you think a duck like that costs? And to get it out there,
Hundreds.
I guess it was deflated.
Maybe 1,000.
You think only $1,000?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know much about balloons, but no, I
Well,
thought
I
that,
don't either,
I thought
but-
that was pretty cool. I mean, that's a good way for Oregon to say, "Hey, we're here. We're part of the Big Ten." And from a competitive on the field perspective, all these four editions are good.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, and I was, as I mentioned before, I was surprised that the Washington game took so long to sell out because I was the most interested in that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's because they've only got 3 starters back.
Perhaps.
Or are fans even that knowledgeable? Man, I hope I don't have much trouble with my YouTube TV. Is this a foreshadowing? Is this what I'm going to be doing every night?
No.
Just staring into my TV like, what the hell? What's going on, Captain?
Steve's getting right where I was, only he's on his page now.
And he's got that look, if the people around me weren't idiots, I wouldn't be having to do this. Is that the look you have right now?
He hasn't done anything new that I haven't done.
Oh, Suter,
And
standing up for himself.
Now he clicks on Big Ten Live, and nothing's happening.
I haven't clicked on it yet.
My buddy just texted me 2 words, kill me.
There you go. Is he the guy that's going to get you on YouTube
No,
TV?
this is a different
buddy?
No, that guy is working.
Oh.
He has one of those jobs, 7 in the morning to like 6 at night. Now, I would be on Captain's side on this. I would be annoyed if I got signed off as something.
Yes. Well,
But I just don't understand why somebody would have to even go there. I mean, why?
see, the thing about
We use it sometimes to do stuff like this.
the technology is
So now we're good.
we're good.
What's on there right now? Is it still the Big Ten?
Michigan State versus Nebraska. It's 10-10.
Big
from,
10 and 60.
No, yes, that's right.
So they must not be starting until 10.
That's correct.
You're going to start at 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Go to the next program.
And then as soon as I see Kirk, then we'll go to it.
Okay. So it's going to be so no players before we get off the air.
Evidently not.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I can't remember the setup other than the fact that you'd get Kirk at the podium, and then we get him out. They'll get Kirk again, Bonenkamp and all those guys who are there. Kirk will go and do a little off the side type thing afterwards. He doesn't always do it right after the podium, but he always does give the media another one. Mostly the Iowa media for the nuts and bolts of Hawkeye football that we haven't heard the last time we talked to Kirk not so long ago, then they have the players. You have the Big Ten Network. All the players from each tool goes up. You see, they go up to the three other players, and then they also each player has his own table where he is interviewed. So that's how they work it out. And so we'll get Kirk to end this show, and because I think it's like a 10-minute speech. It's not like anything real long. And he's not gonna.
Saw myself with the delay. God, I look like an old man.
Well,
it's pitiful.
Well,
how about that lady that died that looked like him in the obituary?
Oh, I wish we had that. I've never laughed so hard in my life.
Well, the funny thing about that is you brought that up when I was listening, and I had just seen that obituary the day before, and the guy, God, it's Captain Steve died, but it was a lady. I knew it was like her name was Louise or something like that. But it was mind-boggling.
I have never laughed so hard. I couldn't get my breath.
Yeah, I mean, did you see it in the Press Citizen, I bet, right?
I think it was.
It was in the obituaries, because you guys talked about it on the air. Because that's when I heard it. And
now, shouldn't there be a Press Citizen online?
Yeah, but you have to have her name. You could not do it without her name. I've thought about it. If we had her name, it would be easy.
Yeah.
We don't have her name.
No, we don't.
It was staggering how much it looked like you.
It was ridiculous.
And she had a big smile on her face. But she was dead.
Well, I'm sure they photographed her when she was
Yeah, no, they got her at a high point.
Yeah.
No, she looked really happy. All right,
when I go, I'll have a big smile on my face.
Well,
we'll see. So, I don't know.
Imagine the obits if they ran like a picture of when you're dead. That would be pretty depressing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be bleak.
Eyes shut, embalmed.
That'd be bleak.
Yeah, we wouldn't want that. So, all right, back to the Hawks. What?
Back to the Hawks. Okay. Fran's casting the net, or making lots of offers, which he does.
Fran's never been not aggressive, I should say.
No.
He's always been he's way more aggressive as a recruiter than I think he gets credit for. Does he get a lot of the big studs? No. But other than George Raveling, who has at Iowa? Nobody.
Well, Bucky had a good.
Well, we're going. That's the 50s. I mean.
Well, I know
black guys barely played. No offense, Bucky O'Connor. I think he's
Carl
great.
Kane.
I know. You know what I mean. I think he's a legend. I think it's tragic how his life. One of the saddest stories. What would have? You talk about what would have been if Evie had stayed.
Uh-huh.
What if Bucky?
Who knows?
But who knows? He could have had 2 or 3 more and then gone. Somebody UCLA may have hired him.
Well, he caught lightning in the bottle with
He did.
his Fabulous Five, and
He did.
made the most of it.
But yeah, recruiting here, it's never. I mean, the Raveling stuff was so rare, but it was fun to follow. Back then, I was the age of those guys that were being recruited, and I was really into recruiting back then. And I just remember, wow. He had all those guys, and remember he got Anthony Pendleton, who did not turn out. He went to USC. Remember he followed George out there. He didn't turn out to be as good as he was projected to be. Because remember, coming out of Michigan, he was a stud, and I'm like, man, this is just never ending. But during those 3 years when he was here, you have to admit the recruiting was pretty fun.
It sure was, and now recruiting's changed so much that. Fran can do absolutely everything right. Get the kid on campus, get him excited, and then if somebody,
Now, I will say, I agree with you on that, but someone like George Raveling, NIL may give people, if he was coaching now, and then NIL may give coaches who wouldn't have had a chance 30 years ago against George Raveling for maybe a black kid from the inner city.
Yeah.
Whereas now NIL may be the balancing factor. There's
that's
a lot
true.
of difference there too. And I'm not saying Roy Marble and those guys only came to Iowa because George was black. That certainly helped. Can we agree on that?
We absolutely.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of that going on back then, but it certainly helped. I mean, you're a young black man growing up. You want to be around a black mentor or whatever. That obviously helped George Raveling in recruiting. And but it was just fun every year. I mean, when they got Ed Horton, Marble, Horton, or Armstrong wasn't ranked as high as those two were. I remember watching Eddie Horton. Remember when cable TV used to show the Illinois State?
Yes.
You could still get it now, but there was a channel that played the Illinois State Championships. That's the first time I ever watched Ed Horton play, I think as a junior. And I'm like, wow, this guy's good and mean. And, he was just dominating. And then I started reading about, wow, he's really serious about Iowa. He's serious. And then, boom, he commits to Iowa. And, George was amazing in that respect.
Well, it was really interesting, too. Of course, BJ not rated as high as you just said. But
he was hardly a slouch.
But he had the best pro career by far.
Oh, by far, yeah. Now, Rory, of course, sadly, he was his own worst enemy.
Yes.
And Ed just didn't last. No, BJ by far had the best career. And, he was fortunate to play with the Bulls, but he also went and played elsewhere and showed that he could stick in the league. No, you're right about that. Yeah, BJ he had a great career. What's going on now? Still a 60s?
Just a Martin Short and Steve Martin commercial.
Oh, okay. I bet that's funny. So has Steve Martin ever done a skit with the Jiminy Blick guy? Have they ever been?
I don't believe so.
That would be funny. And because wouldn't Jiminy make fun of him, wouldn't he? Because that seems to be what he does.
Yeah.
Who's
that
Jiminy Blick?
He's Martin Short in a fat suit.
It's hilarious. Oh, sometime if you and Ann want to see something funny, I know you're not Bill Maher fans, but it's 10 minutes long. You should look up.
Wasn't he on at like 10:30?
He's on at 9:00 on Friday nights, but he had Jiminy Blick on, the character, the other day interviewing Bill Maher. This was like a month ago. And it was 10 of the funniest minutes. I had never seen.
I'm sure I can get it online.
It was freaking hilarious. And Maher spent most of the time, he couldn't do his part because he was laughing. And the Jiminy Blick guy was talking about like a book that Bill Maher just released. And he kept telling him, I haven't read it. But then he'd keep asking. But he just kept telling him over and over that he hadn't read the book yet. But I had never heard of the character before. It was funny.
Well, Martin Short's funny.
He is. I did not realize just how talented he is. And when he and Steve Martin, they were doing that one thing, and Steve Martin looked in the mirror, and he's like, I look like the guy from Up. Remember that? Yeah. And he did.
And yes, he does.
He goes, good God, I look like the guy from Up. He has those big black, but he kind of makes himself look that way.
That Only Murders is a good show.
Is that on Hulu?
The Hulu. Yeah.
Yeah, Only Murders is great.
They're going to show, I thought they were going to show some, or maybe they already have.
So is it on YouTube?
Well, if you subscribe to Hulu.
If you subscribe to Hulu.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? It's on YouTube if you subscribe to Hulu? What the hell is that?
Well, you have to subscribe.
So you're saying subscribe to both of them?
Yes.
See, Hulu is a streaming service.
I know, but so's YouTube, right?
Yeah, but
I've been told that they're identical. That they're
not all encompassing.
Okay, I know. Okay. I've been told
now,
though.
Hulu functions as a streaming.
So is it better? Should I be getting that instead of YouTube?
Let me finish. Hulu is a streaming channel, and it is also a TV service. They're two different things.
You can get. If you
what is it service? What is it?
If you want to get Hulu, get Hulu. If you want to get.
No, I'm stuck. I'm pretty determined to get.
But Hulu is like Netflix, is like Amazon Prime,
like
is
Peacock.
like Peacock. It's a channel.
Okay. Oh, I see. Whereas YouTube is
a service.
It's like cable TV.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. No, I'm going to get YouTube. Yeah. No, I want to get YouTube and Peacock.
Yeah.
So whenever I finally get this thing installed, those are the two things. And my buddy said it would take 10 minutes.
Correct.
Yeah.
He said, it's just a matter of. And I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work with my TV if it's not a smart TV? And he's like, well, that's why you have the Roku. He goes, you're going to have a smart TV. You just may need a Roku to do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. That's where we are. I got both Rokus just sitting there waiting to go.
And if you have a smart TV.
And when he called me the other day and said I'm not going to be able to make it, I was kidding. I just sounded crushed. I'm like, yeah, but what if Mediacom cuts me off? I'm at 11 o'clock at night. I got no TV. He thought I was being serious. He's like, man, and I told him I was kidding.
But you understand this. You are just amazed by That's right now.
By streaming?
Yeah, and
No, I'm more annoyed by the whole thing. I miss the old days.
It is annoying, but it is amazing too. The amount of programming that you can get, and so much of it is really good.
Yeah. But you want that click knob from 2
I
to
just
13.
I want to be sitting
and
right.
then it goes to the U, and then you got another knob.
I need 5, 8, and 13. That's all I need. 5, 8, 13, and public TV. You give me Russ Van Dyke at 10:30.
You're going to have 2 public TVs on YouTube.
What about Russ Van Dyke?
Now,
You remember him?
Yeah,
No.
No, but I know
He was a real long-standing. I think he worked for Channel 8, CBS, the CBS Des Moines station. He was the evening news host and old. I mean, that was old time. He was the kind of cut out of the Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
And I remember he had I've told this before, he has a cabin up at Clear Lake, and it wasn't too far from the cabin where I'd go, and we'd go and stare in his window when he was sitting there reading the paper. We were like 7, 8 years old, just gawking at him. And he told our parents that it's all right. You know, that tone, like, if it's got to happen, it's got to happen. But eventually we got old. But when we found out it was the guy on TV, we were fascinated by that. You know, when you're that age, you only see a guy on TV, then you see him at the lake.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was wild.
Grandpa Happy was my music teacher.
That Grandpa Happy, that's got
school.
Creepy written all over it.
Well, he was a nice man.
His name was Grandpa Happy, and he worked at schools.
He was Mr. Boyd at schools.
Okay, all right.
I'm concerned with this discussion.
Well, I mean, doesn't Grandpa Happy sound a little weird to you?
Yes.
No, it wasn't weird.
Yes, it was.
No.
Grandpa Happy.
And he had no budget. And he
it
had
also
to show
sounds like a
those
band
damn
from the
Clutch Cargo cartoons.
What about the name of a band, Grandpa Happy? Would you think that's a good name for? I kind of like that for a band.
Yeah.
Here, come and sit on Grandpa Happy's
He
lap.
never asked anybody to sit on there. Damn it. He was a nice man.
Come to your grandpa.
Listen, when he left the station, they replaced him with Aunt Polly. And my mother's sitting there, and we're all watching for the cartoons, Aunt Polly.
So this guy's obviously not still alive.
My mother goes, I can remember this perfectly. And we're like, we're 5. So, my brother was 4. And my other brother was like 7. And she goes, who is that bitch? Where's Grandpa Happy?
She called Grandpa Happy a bitch?
No, Aunt Polly. Aunt Polly replaced Grandpa Happy.
Oh, your mom was pissed that Grandpa Happy was gone?
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
He had a teaching
got axed.
job. No, he didn't get axed.
So what happened to him?
So, Grandpa, we're not going to renew your contract. I'm sorry.
He had other teaching duties.
Oh, okay.
He was up to be a principal. And
We are kidding, of course, about it. I mean, the name is a little. The name just,
concerning. He was a wonderful man.
I bet he was. I agree. I'm not questioning that. But the name, it struck me. Say it again. What was his name?
Grandpa Happy. Damn it.
Yeah, we could carry on with this for a while.
I turned to my
going down some dark paths.
I need to be in Indianapolis.
I was going to say, you getting some withdrawal for not being at the big game?
I hadn't until right now. No, I'm not. No, now that I know that we got somebody there who's competent and can cover it, and I won't even have to edit his copy. I love it when you have somebody whose copy you don't have to edit at all.
I love it when you have somebody that's competent.
got copy. Yeah. So, and but was there any? Well, the big news yesterday was that the championship game is going to stay in Indy through 2028. I mean, when you saw that, were you swept away or?
Well, Indy does good stuff. I mean, it's well set up.
I think the response there is a lot of people are probably thinking, "Wow, that's cool," because they could have easily go to L.A. They got so many places they could take it right now.
But it's really set up well. They got so many hotels and good restaurants. And
it is centrally located, but that's easy for a guy from Iowa to say.
Yes, and it's very walkable from these.
But like if you're UCLA and Oregon, those trips are going to get old after a while.
Yeah.
But I still say do you think the Big Ten Championship will ever be played in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
And I do. This is a really stupid question. If Iowa's there, are UNN there?
Oh,
That's a rhetorical question, isn't it?
course.
Okay. I mean, so,
Goes
well,
without
28.
saying.
So, I mean, okay, we got 24. That's still, 28's a long, that's 5 more years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's say they don't renew 28 for Indy, 29 beyond. What would be your guess as to that? Obviously, it can't be Chicago. There's no indoor. It's got to be indoors, doesn't it? Or in warm weather?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Sure.
It's got to be. So what would be your guess as to, let's say Indy's just going to go through 28 and then they wanted the Big Ten announcers, we want to start try a different venue. Where do you think it goes?
I would guess Las Vegas.
Or L.A.?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, those would be my.
Yeah.
The only reason I say L.A. is, I mean, Las Vegas, obviously there's not a team from Nevada or Las Vegas in the conference.
So true.
Whereas I think it would probably go to Southern California. I mean, I guess it could go to Northern California, too, even though there's no, there wouldn't be any reason, though, because Stanford, I mean, they're not going to do it in Seattle. They're not going to do it, or would they do it? I think L.A. would be, if I had to pick where
probably, because it's a huge population center. Yeah, Vegas has just got the panache.
Oh, yeah, no, Vegas could definitely do the job, but I'm guessing just since they have 2 schools from Southern California, my guess is it would be in Los Angeles, and that would be interesting. I mean, but, the fact that they've already committed for another 5 years to Indy means they like it in Indy.
Yeah.
And the argument, of course, could be, yeah, we know you guys in Maryland and Rutgers and UC, but it is centrally located. It's right smack in the middle of what is now a coast-to-coast conference.
Yeah. Yep.
So that, and then, I think the Big Ten commissioner threw out a tribute to Caitlin Clark, which was good, good and timely since they were in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think if I heard anything else that really caught my eye. Yes.
Well, there just isn't. We're right between.
We haven't even started practice.
And we're between everything. The Olympics are almost here, but they're not here.
Speaking of that, Iowa women's wrestling got a huge. I knew this was big when Lance reached out to me and said, this is a major get. Kennedy Blades.
She's an Olympian, right?
Yeah, she's an Olympian. She beat boys growing up. I mean, she competed against boys. She won an Illinois state title. This is like if this was like football, this would be like a 5-star. And
Yosei Epinesa.
Yeah, it'd be something like that. So yeah, good get for the Iowa women's wrestling team. She's over there competing in the heaviest weight over there wrestling. She's been at Arizona State the last 2 years wrestling for the Sunkiss Club, but no, this is. It looks like Iowa is going to be in the early stages of this stuff, at least unbeatable. I mean, this past season was just.
Yeah.
Some of the times you'd look and see forfeit or just won by Tech Fall. It was just complete domination.
There just isn't any competition
Not yet.
right now.
And it's up to the others to start moving towards Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa seems to have the ball rolling and what have you. So, but yeah, that was a good get for them. And trying to think, they had Rutgers, they had Ohio State yesterday.
Damn it! I printed that off yesterday.
But it's just nothing really nothing really jumped out. I mean, I looked at there was a couple Iowa media guys over there, and somebody asked Beal about his Tiger Hawk tattoo. I mean, I've recycled that story.
Didn't he get tired of hearing that?
But in fairness, he's not it's not like I doubt he's bringing it up.
Yeah,
it's boobs like me who ask it.
But I bet he's just said, can't you ask something about my team?
Oh, I'm sure he's going to get a lot of that, and he's going to say, "Hey, I'm really excited. I really like the attitude. I really like what we've done this summer. The guys are together.
Guys have really come together.
And the family atmosphere, the culture here, it all helps because nobody does this alone. We do this as a group. Hell, you don't need Kirk. You got."
That's exactly what Grandpa Happy would say starting off his show.
To who?
To the little kids.
Tom?
We're all this together.
You're provoking us now. You're provoking us. You're trying to get us to say something mean, and I'm not going to do it.
You're trying to get me to say something like, come here and make Grandpa happy. Right?
No!
Remember Buck Henry's character?
Yeah.
Did you like that? Wasn't it in Lorraine Newman and Gilda Radner?
Yeah.
I was like 12 when I was watching that and thought it was funny. Do you know what we're talking about? Uncle Buck?
Yes, I do.
Can you do that now? Could they have a character like that now?
Gilda Radner played just the greatest.
She was hilarious.
And Kelly Caulfield in Living Color, she was the best at playing a kid.
She was so talented.
Yeah.
So sad. She died of breast cancer, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was sad. But no, she remember Rosanna Dan.
Yeah.
That was so stupid it made me laugh. I mean, it was just so dumb. Did you like Rosanna Dana?
Yes.
But it was dumb. It was ridiculous.
Oh, of course.
But I also loved the chemistry between Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd when they did the Evening Reporter, what a Weekend Update. I thought it was hilarious.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Who did you sleep with to get this job? The line that will live on forever.
Yeah, but right now, Colin Yost.
They're funny.
Colin Jost and Michael Che.
Yeah,
they are
I
good.
just think they're just great.
I just don't find myself watching TV at 10:30 on Saturday nights much anymore.
Oh, me neither, but we record it and watch it whenever we want.
I
don't
go
record
to
anything.
YouTube, not YouTube TV, but YouTube, and they'll just run the weekend updates.
But I've seen a couple on Twitter, like when they had Caitlin on, I watched that, and there's been a couple others that. But Colin Jost has that kind of Bob Newhart type approach to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go just what were they saying? All the adjectives used to describe Newhart. I mean, Newhart could be he was like Droopy the dog, but you laughed at him because he was so sarcastic and he was funny.
Pat, the beauty of streaming is, for the most part, you get to watch something whenever you want to watch it as opposed to when they want to show it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. Yeah. And if you find a series you like, you could watch 10 straight episodes.
So how do you know? Oh, I see what you mean. So, like, if I wanted to just watch Rockford Files all day, I could do it on YouTube TV?
Yeah.
And
all you got to do is record it, and it will record automatically every Rockford file that comes on, and then you can watch it.
So is YouTube TV the same way, like...
It's its own DVR.
So, but is like there's a schedule, like, oh, this is what's going to be on at 3. Okay,
yes.
It's just, and it's all done alphabet. Yeah, no, it'll be. I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to time it. I just don't want to go where I'm a day or two without TV because I waited too long, you know. But like I said, I haven't heard from MediaCom yet, and it's. I think they would give me at least a couple weeks before. Then they start threatening to cut me off. I'll be like, okay, I'm sending the bill. Then I'll send the bill, and hopefully, because once I'm done, I'm done. But no, the new internet, you know, I'm not knocking IMON, but it's nothing. It's similar to MediaCom, the internet. Both of them worked. Now, it is cheaper.
Absolutely.
It's a little cheaper. But you're right. They're both very similar in speed.
Yeah.
Because in fairness to MediaCom, my internet with them was pretty good. It's just the television.
Yeah. Well, why don't we take a break, and then, let's take this call.
Might be Grandpa.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hello.
Hello. You're forgetting the best part about YouTube TV is when you record that, fast forward through all the commercials, especially with political season coming up.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you bet.
I'll have to do that once I get really comfortable. The early time,
press a button.
the early moments, I'm just going to be scrambling. I'll be calling you at 3 a.m. I just got disconnected. I have no TV. I mean, I'm kidding. It'll be okay.
But I mean, it's going to be fine.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, and you can go back into the archives.
I'm ready.
And actually see
I'm
Grandpa
ready to
happy
stream
with the children around him.
Eventually, you guys are going to be calling me the streamer.
Yeah, we'll be.
We'll be right back.
Some of us will be back.
1-800-800-ROSE.
1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist is the only number you need to know to send flowers anywhere in the country or Canada from anywhere in the country.
1-800-800-ROSE.
It's so easy. Just remember one number. 1-800-800-ROSE. Your FTD florist.
1-800-800-ROSE.
Remember...
Don't wait for an emergency to get a backup for your car keys. Unlike the olden days, car keys have gotten extremely complex. Mike's eKeys for Cars can generate the most technically advanced automotive keys that are on the market today. For spares and lost keys, Mike's eKeys for Cars can produce most conventional transponder, high security, and remote head keys. Mike's eKeys for Cars will keep you on the road. Call 319-330-9185 and schedule an appointment today. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 319-330-9185 today.
for a gift that your loved one will treasure for a lifetime. Find it at our family-owned jewelry store in Iowa City, Hertine and Stocker Jewelers.
We can show you diamond engagement rings, colored stones, fashion jewelry, and watches.
Our jewelers are on site so we can design jewelry for that special person in your life.
We are Hertine and Stocker, serving Iowa City and the surrounding area for 3 generations.
Hertine and Stocker Jewelers, downtown Iowa City, and HertineandStockerJewelers.com. Ask for Willa, Terry, Tim, or Kate. One of us is always there.
Are you tired of living in a home that doesn't quite meet your needs? Then it's time to call the experts at Streets Maintenance. Their team of skilled professionals specializes in renovations and remodeling, transforming your home into the space you've always dreamed of. From kitchen bath remodels to complete home renovations, no job is too big or too small. Streets Maintenance will work with you every step of the way to ensure your vision becomes a reality. So don't wait any longer. Call Streets Maintenance to schedule your consultation at 400-4483. Let's start building your dream home today.
Hawkeye fans, you love watching the black and gold. You know Hawkeye black and gold. As a Hawkeye fan, there are no better colors than the Hawkeye black and gold. Hi, I'm Steve Anderson. When you're buying, selling, or refinancing your property, consider the green and white team, Hawkeye Title and Settlement. Give us a call at 351-8600. Hawkeye Title and Settlement. The team you love, the people you trust.
Car won't go into gear? Call Premier. Premier Automotive in North Liberty offers full-service mechanical auto repair, in addition to being Eastern Iowa's most trusted name in auto body repair. Use Premier for all your auto repair needs: brakes, oil changes, air conditioning, diagnostics, transmissions, or preventative maintenance. Whether you hit a deer or your car won't go into gear, see Premier Automotive in North Liberty.
Tavern Blue on the Coralville Strip offers the ultimate sizzle of wood-fired pizza perfection. Elevate your pizza game with over 20 wood-fired pizzas, ranging from the Tony Pepperoni, the Philly Cheesesteak Pizza, Mary Margarita, and the Tavern Supreme. From the freshest ingredients, Tavern Blue cooks their pizzas to mouth-watering perfection in their wood-fired oven, which helps bring out those old-world flavors. Fresh creative salads, tacos, burgers, signature cocktails, beer, and wine are just a taste of what Tavern Blue has to offer. Tavern Blue is a family-friendly establishment that offers mini golf, table games, darts, and foosball. Go to tavernblue.com for the latest news, events, and specials, along with full menu options. Once again, that's tavernblue.com.
Diamond Dream Sports Academy 20,000 square foot indoor facility holds 8 batting cages, space for infield work, space for throwing and pitching and all your arm care needs. Offers private instruction, group lessons, camps and clinics, leagues, memberships. Rentals available at Diamond Dreams is open to the public.
Our top level instructors include former professional, college, and Olympic athletes. Our coaches will help these athletes achieve their full athletic potential, develop a strong work ethic, and a solid base to build. The last thing you want to do is look back and wish you had worked or played harder.
Locally owned and established in 2005, Diamond Dreams is Eastern Iowa's premier training facility. Located at 2905 Stoner Court, North Liberty. Call today and reserve your time. 319-665-2173. 319-665-2173.
When you go to a family restaurant, you want 3 things. 1, a wide selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. 2, you want those selections to be affordable and delicious. And 3, you want to be treated like family. You get all 3 at the Midtown Family Restaurant. Breakfast items available anytime the doors are open. Legendary tenderloins, onion rings, and hot roast beef sandwiches. And special ribeye and shrimp nights. Daily specials at each location. And no matter if you're coming in solo or with a group of 20, you get the same special family treatment. The Midtown Family Restaurants at Court and Scott Streets and at the Walmart Plaza on Highway 1 West. Follow them on Facebook or at MidtownFamily.com. The family's waiting for you.
Hey, Iowa, we want your trade-ins. It's that simple. Sedans, coupes, SUVs, vans, trucks. We want them all. At Deary Ford in Iowa City. If you don't need it, don't want it, can't afford it, we'll pay top market value for your trade. If you got a trade, you got a deal. 0% financing available. Plus huge discounts on over 60 new vehicles in stock. So bring us your trade-in. We want them all. Deary Ford in Iowa City. Hurry in or shop online at DearyFord.com.
GT Carr, owner of Supple's Building and Remodeling, has been offering unmatched service and quality for over 25 years. The trained professionals at Supple's Building and Remodeling will install and guarantee the products used in any job, no matter how big or small. They also stand behind their work and offer no-nonsense, exceptional customer service from design to completion and beyond. Whether it's a simple window replacement or a major house addition, you'll have the confidence that Supple's Building and Remodeling is committed to quality. Visit supples.net or call them today at 319-337-2246.
Don't let just anyone take care of your smile. At Diamond Dental, you can expect compassion, expertise, and a personalized care plan to protect your teeth for life. With more than 30 years of combined experience, Dr. Forbes and his staff are prepared to tackle even your toughest dental problems, leaving your smile healthy and sparkling. Diamond Dental offers a full range of general and cosmetic dentistry, as well as dental treatment options for snoring and sleep apnea. It's never too early to start thinking about what's best for your smile. Schedule an appointment today by calling 319-390-3703 or visiting the office at 5815 Consul Street Northeast, Suite D1 in Cedar Rapids. You can also visit DiamondDentalPC.com for more information. Dr. Forbes is a proud sponsor of the Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Inner Circle. Let the Diamond Dental team provide superior care for your entire family.
Hi, this is Bill Leixenring from the Oxyoke Inn. The Oxyoke Inn is now serving daily. Our Oxyoke family is ready to serve you with the same quality of food and service you've come to trust since 1940. Now serving lunch, dinner, banquets, and carry-out daily with 4 portion sizes. Sundays featuring our famous brunch buffet. You can also order curbside carry-out and pies to go online and take the comforting taste of the Oxyoke home to your family's table. Visit oxyokeinn.com for hours, menus, reservations, carry-out, specials, and gift cards. From our Oxyoke family to yours, we can't wait to see you again soon. Oxyoke Inn, in the heart of Amana.
The Oxyoke Inn.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart of the Hawkeye Nation, this is the mighty 1630 KCJJ, Iowa City.
Harty and Stalker Jewelers, making memories, making moments.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible through about early to mid-afternoon today. Then it'll be mostly sunny. Our high today, 82. It will be muggy with wind out of the north at 5 to 15. Tonight, mostly clear, 65. Tomorrow, sunshine, 83. Then on Friday, sunny, 84. It'll stay sunny, warmer, and a lot more humid with upper 80s by Saturday and Sunday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Temperature now 67.
KCJJ weather brought to you by Plum Supply.
Plum Supply, kitchens and baths. Your home never looks so beautiful.
We are back.
We are to see, I imagine you saw Kelton Copeland hired by Kansas
as an analyst.
Yeah,
that's not a bad landing spot.
No.
I mean, they're having a real good time under
good
Lance
for him.
Leopold right
Yeah.
now, so good for him. It's interesting that he didn't get a position job. I mean, just so like Brian Ferentz didn't get a position job,
Yeah.
but, they're hanging in there.
They're getting back on the horse.
Yeah, they're getting back on the horse, and I was just talking to you guys during the break. Iowa defensive end Deontay Craig actually had a lot to I assume you've seen. He didn't know what we're talking about. You've seen the video.
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen the video, but
I've
when
seen
I
it
went to
several-
his
I've seen it several
feed,
times.
it says you don't follow anyone he wouldn't let me in.
That,
By the way,
I see. Okay, because I follow. I don't follow. I don't. Okay, but he tweeted this morning, and he's responding to the open camera that was on the police officer who ended up shooting a black woman. Was it Springfield, Illinois?
Yes.
And she, of course, was killed in her kitchen. And I've watched the video a couple times because people trying to defend the cop, saying she was going to toss the. I did not see that at all. And even if she was so far away from him.
There's no defense.
On this one, there is absolutely no defense.
And this guy had been at 6 different departments.
And the way he treated her during that video, It was so, but here's what Deontay Craig, a very good Iowa defensive lineman, great guy, one of the funnest guys to interview on the team, super nice.
Yeah,
he's a black guy, and he's from Indiana. So, this is coming from a black man. He goes, do these idiots just choose to forget they have body cams, or are they just too arrogant enough to care? I need someone to help me understand what it will take for these kinds of behaviors to change. And people still wonder why we kneel and don't call for help, shaking my head. Then he had a broken heart emoji. And then 2 responses down, Iowa defensive line coach Kelvin Bill. I'm going to just make sure. Yes, this is the real Kelvin. His response to Deontay is, they don't care. Camera or no camera. They don't care. It's a culture, not a one-off. An abuse of power to the 9th degree. It's sickening.
Well, it is.
It is
sickening. And
there was no reason for that. She called
none,
because she thought there was a prowler. She asked if she could move the pot.
Yes.
So that it wouldn't boil over.
There was no, I don't.
And he said to move the pot, and then he shot her in the face. No. This is a bunch of crap.
And then he also stopped the other one from getting help for her.
Why in the hell had he been at 6 different forces in a very short period of time?
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's no way to defend what he did.
Nothing. No way at all. Unless you're a miserable racist. Unless,
sadly, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
And I did see some try and you got to comply. I mean,
the crap that's going on now with Kamala Harris and what they're saying, like she's a DEI and this broad.
What is DEI?
Diversity, inclusion,
Unless she got the job because she was just black. When there are so many, and this is what this guy from Tennessee said, basically. I think Brochard or something.
Oh, Tim Burchard.
Said, wasn't there a white woman that was qualified?
Sure, there probably were.
A white man that was qualified?
There probably were, but not everybody can get the job.
No. And you find a woman, find a white woman that was a district attorney, that was elected to office, and that's the vice president.
Yeah, what I don't get with Trump, he keeps calling her. Trump keeps saying she's dumb as rocks or whatever. Yeah. He couldn't pass a bar exam. I mean, she's done a lot, whether you're going to vote for her or not. I don't get that approach. There's other things if you want to attack her on the board.
Because he lies about everything.
Yeah, it's just,
simple as that.
But no, that's some pretty strong emotional stuff coming out of the Iowa football program from a player and a coach, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. And I would never begin to tell a black woman how to perceive that stuff. It's different, but in this, it's there should be no color involved.
If you were a black person, wouldn't you be afraid to call the police? I would be.
In Springfield, Illinois, I would. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I can understand.
I would like to think most the cops here. I mean, I haven't. I mean, I don't. But I'm also a pasty white guy. What do I know? I mean.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that most of the cops here are I'd like to think that all of them are respectable and good. I mean, I got pulled over by a black cop right in front of Southeast Junior High about 3 years ago. I was going 34 and a 25, gave me a warning. And when everybody's super nice.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he warned me. He's like, "Hey, we're going to be a lot more surveillance on this thing." So he goes, "You want to, just keep it down." And I'm like, "Hey, will you give me 30?" And he started lying. I go, what can we go before you guys are going to start harass? We were kidding back and forth, but he was super nice. But no, I would like to think that they're good here, but there's bad ones.
Well, there are good here, and we haven't had those incidents.
No, we haven't.
And it plays into the community. The community knows what it is. It's a liberal community.
Exactly.
And that's why
that helps.
I'm here. If it wasn't, I shut that big switch off in the back. I'm done. But the fact of the matter is, in other communities, they're not so fortunate. This was, but I mean, something like this just is a black mark on the whole damn police community.
But now, there's people looking at her background trying to find stuff. I mean, just trying to find a way to deflect and to justify. But this cop he just seemed to have evil in his voice that day. I mean, he just it was scary.
There was no reason for it.
It was frightening.
He's going to go to prison, and he's going to stay. And there was no reason for it.
Oh, there'll be some people waiting for him in prison.
Well,
My guess is they'll keep him segregated or separated or whatever. They'll protect him. But yeah, no, I don't know how you can defend that. Well, in fairness, they fired him and charged him with murder right away, didn't they?
Yes.
I mean, right away, almost.
Well, clearly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the video is shocking.
But if you see a cop that's been in 6 different,
that should be a red flag.
yeah, why?
Unless each one is he's moving, you know what I mean?
Unless he's moving up.
But it doesn't look like that was the case.
No.
It was a lot of lateral or moves. Yes, no, that should be a red flag. But man, I just feel so terrible for the family. But the one bright thing, not that money cures everything, but there's going to be they're going to sue somebody, aren't they?
Oh yeah, the city and yeah.
And unfortunately, all the taxpayers have to pay it. But they got to get something out of that. I mean, she was a young woman killed just for no reason.
Yeah, her children will get that, and will need that. I was taught early on to respect the police, and you know who taught me that?
And I was taught the same thing.
You know who taught me that?
We going back to Grandpa Happy?
Grandpa Happy taught me that.
Well, I figured your parents would have taught you that.
No.
Did they tell you not to trust the police? Fight the power?
My mom said, "Don't trust anybody."
Was your mom fight the power?
She was fight anybody. Was she not, Tom?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was.
But I would like to think that any normal family would raise their kids to respect the police. But it's easy for me to say, growing up in Beaverdale and Des Moines, as opposed to some kid growing up. I mean, it's experiences, it's circumstances. I mean, a black kid from the inner city is going to have different experiences with the cops
and
and
different
some
perceptions.
Pasty white dork like me from Beaverdale.
Absolutely.
Northwest Des Moines, Captain, Beaverdale.
I wonder, and I don't know this. I'd like to think that she wouldn't. But do you think you dealt with my mom? Do you think she'd be MAGA?
She would either be all in or all out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, she was...
Oh, that would have been great.
She was O.J. Simpson to the hilt.
So were you.
Innocent.
So were you for a while. Was that just shtick?
Yeah.
Okay. I never know what's real. You never tell me, hey, Pat, this next conversation.
What do you want?
You tell me usually after the fact. I was just trying to get under your skin there. I didn't believe any of that stuff I just said. Those are the best ones. After I spent like an hour defending myself.
I can see what the juror...
So you're telling me your mom might have been MAGA?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that have been funny, Tom, though, to have a MAGA mom calling in?
It would have been some interesting calls.
I would love to have had her call in.
Tom would have to field.
Yes.
So what would have attracted her to Trump?
Just the celebrity and the fact that everybody, that the whole other family would be against him. I don't know. Maybe she wouldn't have been. She might not have been.
Would she have liked Biden? Would she have said he was too old? Would she have bought into that narrative? Which, I
don't know.
He is too old. So's Trump.
He is. And the thing with Biden, it's not about like now in the next 9 months to a year. I'm more worried about Biden in 2026, 2-3 years down the road. That's why he's stepping down.
Yeah.
Doesn't he speak tonight?
Yes.
He could go out there and drool from his mouth and fall asleep, and it won't matter. Well, then they'll probably say, well, then you just make...
No, they want him now. He's got to get out of office right now.
Yeah, well, then what? Then you just give Kamala a job now, and then she...
Yeah, be careful what you want, folks, because if you...
Yeah, he's not getting out of office now, and there's no reason.
And he's not going to drool and fall asleep. I was joking.
And the last thing in the world they want is to have Kamala Harris running as president, as opposed to.
Yeah. Would you laugh though if he did fall asleep?
No, I really would be sad.
Okay, I just wanted to know where you would. I'd be going back and forth. I'd be sad, but I'd be like, wow.
I'd laugh if he brought up Hannibal Lecter.
What if he brought up Dr. or I've already missed his name.
Grandpa
Happy. What if Dr. Happy. That's even more disturbing. All right.
Let's see.
So the coaches started yet?
They've got Lieutenant General Richard M. Clark, Executive Director of the College Football Playoff.
Okay. So, Kirk must be second in line of the speakers.
Well, they had him second on the...
okay. Because, they have 6 today and 6 tomorrow. I mean, that is better than...
Well, don't they give them each 15 minutes?
Roughly about 15 minutes. And then they make an opening statement, and then media
Do they play them off if they go over 50 minutes like the Oscars?
That I don't believe so. Nobody usually goes. No, because there's a moderator that'll end up saying, okay, final question or whatever. That usually it's kind of run pretty concisely that way. And but this would be the points where we're all sitting there at the big tables there right in the middle of Lucas Oil and bitching about the internet, because I'm just wondering how well the internet's working today, because I haven't spoken to Bonenkamp yet, and Rob's not over there. So, but yeah, we'll see what Kirk has to say. It'd be interesting to see what questions he gets asked. What I've some interesting stuff schedule wise. Wisconsin's schedule is
brutal.
Brutal.
Oh my God, it's 4 of the top 6 teams.
And then Rutgers doesn't play any of the top 6. I saw that stat.
Yeah.
See, that's not.
And not only does Wisconsin play 4 of the top 6, but they have to play Alabama.
Yes. I mean, he's going to have trouble having a winning season this year, I think, unless they're way better than we anticipate. And I'll tell you, the Wisconsin team I watched last year was not very good.
No, they weren't.
They haven't been very good for a while.
No.
So, yeah, when I saw that stat, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Where is that Alabama game? Is it
at Camp Randall, I think, isn't it?
Is it at Camp Randall? Okay.
I could be wrong.
I know they played LSU at Camp. Didn't they do a home and away against LSU?
Yeah. I could be wrong.
See, that's the
about
guy I would be so interested to watch that game. If you had no Iowa conflict, you'd watch Wisconsin Alabama, wouldn't you, Tom?
Yeah,
I would too. That's a fun game. I give Wisconsin credit for scheduling a game like that.
I guess.
What do you mean?
Well, I think they're going to get their heads handed to them.
Yeah, their chances are, but you never know. And if they do play competitively, I mean, I'm not saying it's a moral victory, but that's how it'll be played.
Yes.
And so we'll see. I mean, and in fairness to Iowa, people will be like, well, why didn't Iowa do that? Iowa has Iowa State. That is their Power 5. Wisconsin doesn't play Wisconsin State. So they've got a little more flexibility. And Iowa State right now, Iowa State's one of the better teams, I think, in the Big 12. So it's not like by playing Iowa State, Iowa's playing a bad team. They're not. I mean,
no, I was right.
I think
Alabama at Wisconsin.
And what's the day?
September 14th.
So then Wisconsin must be going to Alabama. It must be like home and away like they did with LSU.
It must be, yes.
Yeah, so, I will look forward to that game. That'll be.
So, okay, Wisconsin starts with Western Michigan and then South Dakota, and then it ramps up just a little with Alabama and then at USC.
Think about that, going from those two. Think about that change in 4 games.
Wow. Then they've got 3 real winnable games, Purdue, Rutgers, and Northwestern.
I think USC's winnable, too. I mean, if it was in Wisconsin, of course I'd say even more. But USC is, we'll see. Their defense was horrible last year.
All right, how about these, the last 5 games of their season? Penn State at Wisconsin, Wisconsin at Iowa, the Ducks at Wisconsin, Wisconsin at Nebraska, and Minnesota at Wisconsin.
That's brutal.
It's incredible.
I mean, if that was Iowa's schedule, we'd be sitting here saying 6-6, 7-5.
We'd be sweating bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how different their schedule is to Iowa's. Wow. Seriously, with that schedule, well, let's go through their schedule and pretend it's Iowa and see what we come up with.
All right.
Look at this, Captain. We're improvising. We're doing this is.
It's like SNL.
I mean, we're filling air.
All right. So let's see. Here's
SNL.
If Iowa had this
schedule, let's go through it. Okay.
Okay.
2-0.
Yes, with Western Michigan and South Dakota.
We all agree 2-0. Okay, all right.
And then Alabama at Iowa.
2-1.
Wisconsin or Iowa at USC. Close one.
I'm going to give Iowa that one.
Okay, I will too. 3-1. Purdue at
4-1.
Iowa. 4-1. At Rutgers. 5-1.
5-1, but could be a weird game.
Could be.
Could be. Wouldn't be shocked if they lost. I don't know what. I mean, by then we'll know a lot more about Rutgers. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they did win 7 games last year.
Okay, so then the hypothetical schedule again: Iowa at Northwestern, win.
Okay.
6-1. Penn State at Iowa, loss.
Yeah, I'm going to go, since we went so quickly with the win at USC, trade off 6-2. Okay.
Then Wisconsin.
Where?
At Iowa.
Oh wait, yeah, it'd be at Iowa. Yeah, what am I saying? Where? It's Wisconsin. I'd give them Iowa 7-2.
Okay. Then Oregon at Iowa.
I'm going to go 7-3.
Me too.
Oregon's loaded.
Iowa at Nebraska. Boy, would be a Toss-up.
Yeah, they're playing. Nebraska's here this year. That's a toss-up. I'm going to give it to Iowa just because I'm here in Iowa City sitting with two big homers.
And then
they do have, I know he's a 5-star, but right now it looks like their quarterback's going to be a kid who was in high school last year. But then we'll know a lot more about him, the Raiola.
Yeah.
And they do have some experience back. I'm going to give Iowa this, that would be 8-3, but it could easily be 7-4.
And then you'd have
At Minnesota or?
At Wisconsin.
You mean
No. Minnesota at Iowa.
I'd give him that. So I got him 9-3 with that schedule, but almost 8-4.
Yeah.
Could easily see 8-4. But I also think Iowa's better than Wisconsin.
Yes.
I just do right now. And do I think Wisconsin's better than Iowa on offense? Yes, of course, but not enough to offset how much better I think Iowa is on special teams and defense.
Yeah.
I just think Iowa's slightly better. If Iowa and Wisconsin played 10 times right now, based on what we've seen in the last couple of years, not this team here, but Iowa's win 7 out of the 10. They've just been a little better than Wisconsin lately.
They have.
They have, and I mean some of the games have been brutal. But Wisconsin's offense has really fallen off. The days of Melvin Gordon and they're not there anymore.
Way different. Yeah.
Yeah, not there anymore.
Well, and their defense isn't as good either.
No, their defense is taking a hit. They just have not been as good.
No.
They really haven't been the same since COVID.
No, they haven't.
I'm not blaming it on COVID. I don't want to get attacked by conspiracy theorists.
Harty said COVID bought Wisconsin
Yeah,
down. What a moron.
I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying time-wise, they didn't seem to come out. They didn't handle that COVID season very well either. Remember how bad? I mean, I give Iowa credit. I think that's some of Kirk's best coaching. To have that team go 6-2 during 2020 season, that was impressive. Offense wasn't very good. They still found a way to win 6 of their 8 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's Wisconsin's schedule is brutal. Look up Rutgers' schedule.
All right.
We'll do the game because when I saw that stat, I'm like, how do they not play any of the top 6? I guess that does leave 12 other opponents. We could have Iowa going 12-0 with Rutgers' schedule.
Well, let's see. Just give me a second. Rutgers.
What'd you have for dinner last night, Captain?
2 slices of leftover pizza.
Wow, that's not much. You got to keep up your strength.
That's all and then I had a salad for lunch at the Bread Garden Market, the great salad bar.
That's all you had yesterday was 2 slices of pizza and a salad?
Yeah.
Wow.
They got everything on that.
Well, I had a lot more than that.
Me too.
Well, I didn't.
I had a beef skewer, a little fire.
I just haven't got an appetite. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but I just don't have an appetite like that.
Well, I do.
Yeah, me too. I'm hungry right now.
Okay.
I got a pork chop waiting for me at home.
If Iowa had Rutgers.
Okay, let's go to it. All right.
Howard University at Iowa.
1-0.
I'll go with the Hawk. The Akron Zips at Iowa.
2-0.
2-0. Rutgers at Virginia Tech.
3-0.
Or Iowa at Virginia Tech. 3-0. Huskies at Iowa.
Huskies.
3-1.
Which Huskies?
No, this is Iowa. Washington Huskies.
Okay. Oh, that one conference play. No, that's 4-0.
Yeah. Iowa at Nebraska.
No, I had them. I'll go 5-0 because I had them winning when it was the others.
Wisconsin at Iowa.
6-0.
UCLA at Iowa.
7-0.
Iowa at USC.
I'm going to go 7-1 on that one because I quickly gave them the Nebraska game.
Okay. Minnesota at Iowa.
8-1.
Iowa at Maryland.
9-1. Well, I have them losing to Maryland, but on this one, I'll say win. I can go back and forth.
Sure. Illinois at Iowa.
10-1.
And Iowa at Michigan State.
Man, that is an easy
schedule. It's an easy schedule.
Wow.
I wish it were ours, but ours is pretty easy.
Iowa's isn't much worse than that one as far as toughness was.
I'll get this.
All right. No, it isn't, but, and it's starting to, there's a growing movement among Hawkeye fans, playoff or bust. If they don't make the playoffs, it'll be a disappointing year.
I'm not ready to go there. I mean, they could go. What if they go 10-2 and don't make the playoff, win a bowl game, and go 11-2?
And they might not.
There's a chance that if they go 10-2, there's a chance they could not make the playoff.
Absolutely.
9-3. No, what if they go 9-3, win a bowl game, and go 10-3? that's what do you want to fire Kirk?
See, I'll always take that. You know,
I mean, I will too. You have to be practical about it. You can't. Now part of this too, though, Tom, is they're 25 years into a coaching run. There's not much left to accomplish. The bar goes up because Kirk's. 9-win seasons aren't what they used to be.
Well,
I will acknowledge that.
What's left for Kirk to accomplish is
Big
get
Ten championship
and the playoffs.
And one will come with the other.
Yeah.
If they win a Big Ten championship, they're going to be in the 12-team playoff. That's all that's left. Yeah. But I don't think if he doesn't get that every season from now on, it's a disaster. To me, if Kirk wins 9-4 would be the borderline of they got to do. You don't want too many more of these. Think of that though. I'm saying that about a 9-win season. Remember when Hayden won 9 games?
Yeah.
But circumstances are a lot different. But like I said, if they win 10 games, and a lot of it's going to depend on who they lose to. Let's say they go 10-3, they go 10-2, don't make the playoffs, and their losses are to Iowa State and like Nebraska. That won't go over.
Of course, now the playoffs are announced after all of the championship games, right?
I believe, yeah.
So if we go 10-2 in the regular season and don't win the Big Ten championship, there's no chance.
I wouldn't think, no. But there are scenarios in which 10-2 could get in. So 9-3, no way. The safest bet is to go 11-1 or 12-0.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. But I don't know. Do you think some fans are under the impression that if Kirk doesn't have like a season where they either make the play, his job's not in.
No,
he's not in any trouble, nor should he be. This is not a play. So you're basically saying people are saying, if they don't make the playoff, I'll be disappointed, but not necessarily demanding changes.
Right.
Okay. I would think that any program that doesn't make the playoffs is going to be disappointed. That's the goal of everybody.
Legitimately, we kind of need to go 11-1.
Yes, that would be the.
And then if we lose in the Big Ten championship,
11-2, I think would still get you in.
Yeah, I do too.
Think it still would get you in
if you were competitive.
Yes.
If you're not competitive.
I know. In the last 2 times they've been to the Big Ten championship, they have not been competitive. It's been a disaster.
It has.
I saw somebody in the media, I can't remember who it was, at Big Ten picked Michigan go 9-3. Michigan's schedule is tough. Harbaugh, the timing of Harbaugh's exit, I should say, is no coincidence. That roster, they lose a lot off that roster.
They do.
And I could see why he decided, the money and the opportunity and what have you, but I think those jobs were always there available for Jim Harbaugh. I think he wanted to ride this out with McCarthy and all those guys, and hey, more power to him. He brought him there. He built that roster. So was the first coach up?
First coach, Deshaun Foster.
The former UCLA running back, I believe.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I remember, I'm old enough to remember when he was a recruit.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
All right, so Michigan's football schedule: Fresno State, Texas at Michigan. See, that's
a game he has to win.
That's a brutal.
Not saying. Sherrone Moore is going to get 3 years at the most.
At the most,
and that's nothing to do with this being black or white or whatever. You're going to get 3 years at a school like Michigan. If you're still struggling after 3 years at Michigan, you're gone, and that's just how it's going to be. And when I say struggling, let's say he goes 9-3 in all 3 of his seasons, Tom doesn't win anything, maybe wins one, goes 10-3, 9-4, 10-3. I think he's. Do you think he's gone?
Okay. Do you? Well, let's look at this. Let's see what we think they're going to do this year. Okay, Texas at Michigan, and I'm going to take Texas. I've got a new coach. Lost a lot of talent.
They did. I could see taking Texas, but I'm just not completely sold on Texas yet.
Got a call if you want to call.
Oh, sure.
Hello.
Oh, it's okay. I was enjoying the conversation. You didn't have to stop on my account.
That's okay.
So here's the scenario for you. Iowa goes 11-1, doesn't make the Big Ten playoff because of a tiebreaker. And so you're 11-1. The 2 teams play for the playoff. One of them loses. Doesn't that just kind of jump Iowa right up into the top 12?
Well, I think all 3 would get in.
Yeah, I do too.
I think all 3 would. Yeah, if all 3 have at least 11, I think they're all 3 in.
So you think that, okay, I like that scenario. Everything I've read says
12 teams, you're going to, realistically, 12 teams, 3 or 4 from the SEC, 2 or 3 from the Big Ten, a couple from the ACC. Yeah, I think all 3 would get in if that was the scenario.
Yeah, I'd be nice to see because that would be something good for
Kirk because he's taken a lot of BS over the
Yeah,
last.
that's it. I mean, all that's left for Kirk is Big Ten championship and a playoff. That's it. He's done everything else.
People just got to stop and realize. I don't want it to be something that they realize afterwards just how great a coach we have right now. So I just take all the criticism.
Oh, no, I agree with you on that. Now, there are some fans that are probably rolling their eyes now. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I get what you're saying, though. No, I agree. He's been a fine coach, but I also don't criticize those who want change. But you can want change just because you're bored. You can't want change based on the product on the field because you shouldn't. Kirk doesn't. The product on the field is fine. It's not great, but it's still worthy of.
Well, it's 2/3 greatness and 1/3 subpar. Way subpar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just hope we can put it together and have an 11-win season, and that would be a great year this year.
Oh, without
let's go Hawks.
Agree completely.
There you go.
Okay,
All
so
right, you guys have a great day.
You too.
All right, so let's say Texas does beat Michigan 1-1, Arkansas State 2-1, USC at Michigan
3-1.
3-1, Gophers at Michigan
4-1.
4-1, Michigan at Washington
5-1.
5-1.
Yeah, I just Washington. They got
lost
talent
too
there.
much.
They lost. They only have 3 starters back.
Michigan at Illinois 6-1. Michigan State at Michigan
7-1.
7-1. Oregon Ducks at Michigan
7-2.
7-2. Michigan at Indiana 8-2.
I'll give them 8-2.
Northwestern 9-2. Michigan at Ohio State 9-3.
And that will not go over well.
No,
especially after this run they're just coming off of. So if he had a 9-3,
so they got to beat Texas.
So what I'm saying is, if he goes 9-3, okay, but let's say he beats Texas, they go 10-2, they make the playoff, they go 10-3. The year after, they go 9. Could you see a scenario in which Sherrone Moore wins 10 games in 2 out of his 3 years, 9 in the other, and he still gets fired? If they're 10-3, 9-4, I don't know. If he's not beating Ohio State and consistent, I think he would get let go. Don't you?
I think he would be on the hottest of all possible seats if he loses to Ohio State twice.
Yes, I think it's. I mean, people say, "Well, Ryan Day's 56-8 overall as a coach. He's had some.
He's done all right,
but he's also it's heating up. Even though that record's incredible, if he doesn't beat Michigan this year, I mean, he's going to be in the hot seat. Even though he wins 90% of his games, jobs like that are different. There's an expectation. You're not going to survive. Whereas you could survive at let's say Mark Stoops replaced Kirk starting next year and went 9 let's say he went 9-3 and won a bowl game, went 10-3 his first year. It'd
be great.
You're not going to survive going 9-3 at Michigan and Ohio State. You're just not.
Not ultimately.
No, not ultimately. Whereas Iowa, you are.
Yeah.
And people will say, "Well, that's got to change. We got to." Well, that's easier said than done.
Settle for mediocrity.
And I don't think it means that they're settling, but you got to be realistic about things. I mean, you're not settling for mediocrity, but that is part of the. That is part of the battle cry. So,
those people wear me out.
And are there a lot of them on Facebook?
If you
go looking for them,
I'll tell you one of the all-time cesspools on Facebook is the Indiana Fever pages.
Do they ever talk about Caitlin?
Constantly, and they all want Christy Sides needs to go. They need to get rid of everybody but Leah and Caitlin.
Yeah, I actually think Christy Sides has done okay.
I do too. I mean,
they're better than last year.
I wouldn't have agreed with you necessarily after the first 6 games.
Well, no, I wouldn't have. Well,
but
first
right
9.
Now, I feel pretty good about.
They were 1-8 at one time.
Yeah.
Now they're 11-15, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So they won 13 games last year. They're on course to win more games than last year. I know. I get what you're saying though. It is just it's. There. I mean. The pro Caitlin and the anti Caitlin, they just go at each other.
And the Angel Reese discussion wears me out.
Me too.
Quit comparing Angel Reese and Caitlin. They play.
See, when those posts show up in my timeline, I click up in the right corner where it says "not interested in this post." If you do it enough times, they will start to slow up a little bit. So is Foster talking right now?
Yes. Yeah.
Do we want to hear him?
I don't know. Do we want to hear him?
that's going to hold 105, 107,000 people, a place that UCLA hasn't ventured to and with any frequency. How much does that kind of get you excited when you think about this new era of UCLA football?
That's why we're excited for the Big Ten. You're just getting opportunities to play in a lot of stadiums that you usually wouldn't get an opportunity to. So I know our players are excited to do that, but once we get in that week, that's when we'll really lock in. But until then, we're just excited to be in the Big Ten.
Okay.
Are you bored yet?
That wasn't hard-hitting.
On your back right.
Either question or...
Well, yeah, what's you going to say? Hey, how excited are you going to be coaching in front of 100,000?
He took over a UCLA program that had Chip Kelly leave. Danton Lynn went crosstown. You had the transfer portal.
It does sound like Ray. You send Ray there, Captain?
Unforgiving at times. What have you done to
that is Ray.
Sell the UCLA
He's
program?
staying down at the Lakeside Marriott. Compliments to KCJJ.
I really just opened it up. I wanted people just to see what UCLA has to offer. I'm not really a car salesman, so it was more of just come out here and see what we're about, see if you can feel the energy and see if you want to be a part of that. And, it's been going well so far.
Tom, have you seen UCLA's campus?
On your left side, Coach.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Coach, you're off Big Ten Network.
Yeah, you can do it. We'll wait for Kirk.
He's not too.
What if? Well, too excited. People may say the same thing about Kirk. What if Kirk just comes out? He's Henny Youngman out there, just got the crowd rolling. Got a little Buddy Hackett routine.
Take my wife, please.
He's got a little Buddy Hackett routine going. But yeah, UCLA's campus. I remember I've been there a couple. It was beautiful.
Yeah, every school's.
Did you ever play out in California? Your band?
No.
Never made it out that far?
No.
What's the furthest west? Like Montana, Idaho? Yeah.
Oh, no, we got New Mexico is maybe further west. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is pretty far west.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to live there now.
No. I wouldn't want to live there then.
Yeah, no, but it's...
Salt Lake City. But we did not play... Washington, Oregon, or California.
So if you would have booked in California, you would have driven.
Oh,
right?
no, the farthest west was Alaska.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say that.
This dumb question, you didn't drive there, did you?
To
Alaska?
No.
I mean, okay, or I didn't know if you drove to as far as you could out west and then...
Sort of. We drove our equipment and drove everything to Seattle.
That's what I figured. Okay.
And then we had to put our equipment into these cubes, big cubes.
I know what you're talking about.
That would be loaded onto the planes.
Okay.
And then got flown into Kodiak Island.
Okay.
So,
if I can ask,
that's one of the places when we had Lisa Bluter on. That's one of the places she said she wants to.
To Alaska.
Alaska. She mentioned Alaska and then Two Rivers, and. I'm going to reach out to them here in the next week or so. There's been enough space between Jan doing those flow of interviews. The only problem I see us having is I believe they practice every morning during the week, I believe, from 9 to 10:30. So we'll see, though. I'll reach out to Bailey and see if there's a chance to try to get Jan on before football starts to kick up full swing.
That would be great.
But like I said, practice may be a conflict. Is she done?
Deshaun Foster is done. Just
here we
finished.
Go.
So... if I can ask, I've never asked this. How much did the band usually make? How much did you guys get paid for
typical
going
gig.
To Alaska? Well, going to Alaska.
Alaska paid pretty well. I think we've made maybe $3,500 a month or a week, something like that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, but they paid a little better than most.
Well, but that's good for that time.
That's not bad now.
As the head man in Iowa City, just an amazing level of consistent success with the Hawkeyes, especially last couple of years on the defensive end, where Phil Parker has fashioned one of the best defenses, not just in recent history, but in the history of Big Ten football.
Of course, you're dividing that between.
No longer the OC.
That's pretty good money.
Struggles on that side of the ball.
Producer.
Tim Lester is the new offensive coordinator, hoping for a healthy campaign from Kate McNamara, who was gone after just 4 or 5 games a year ago. Some key departures for sure, but I think, Jake, the big key is if Cade can stay healthy, this offense believes it can help out the defense a lot more than it has over the last couple of years.
It's going to be the same conversation that we've always had. That defense is going to be one of the best in the country, not just in the conference, in the country. They're loaded. They return a ton of talent. But on the offensive side of the ball, it starts with Tim Lester, he's been quoted as saying he wants to run that Shanahan-style system. Outside zone, big play action. And if, when I played Iowa, we lost to them, gut-wrenching loss in my senior year in 2016, where we probably had the better team on paper. But they were able to control the game because they had a clear offensive identity, and a lot of that was outside zone, then timely play action. They haven't really had an identity these past few years on that side of the football. So bring in Tim Lester, and you talk about keeping Cade McNamara healthy. This is going to fall back on the old identity of Iowa, which is better offensive line play. We've been waiting for a while to see that offensive line. We don't need them to even be dominant. They've been inconsistent, but establish the run game.
That's it.
Get into play action. Those are going to help take some of the pressure off Cade McNamara. And then once your offensive line is playing good, you can expect to have a clean pocket. That was a pretty significant injury that Cade went through last year. And we saw how thin they were at that position behind him. Cade McNamara is a very serviceable quarterback when he's healthy. The season is going to fall on the shoulders of the Hawkeye offensive line.
LaShawn Williams is back at running back after a pretty solid 2023. If they can open some holes, he can certainly find them. And defensively, Jay Higgins is back. Nick Jackson is back, tackling monsters. I mean, Higgins among the nation's best in that category a year ago. Sebastian Castro,
big kid,
kind of that rover between the linebacker and defensive back position.
Probably early on.
With some big departures up front, Logan Lee and others on the defensive line. But this defense is going to take a step backwards. I just don't see it.
No, and really, what makes them special, too, is those guys are all extremely talented. Don't get me. I think Sebastian Castro is probably the best nickel. He's one of the best at his position in college football. But what makes this defense special is they are so disciplined to their assignment. They're not even doing sexy schemes. It's not exactly confusing.
He does a good job.
Rarely, if ever, will you see a Hawkeye defender out of position, out of their gap. They all play their job to the highest potential, trust one another, and just suffocate you throughout the game. So, yes, they lost a few on the defensive line. They return enough. And once again, we're going to see that Phil Parker-led, disciplined, quarters coverage Iowa Hawkeye system that's going to be tough for any offense to beat.
They just need to find a little balance. Defensively, per play, they were the best team in the country last year. Offensively, per play, they were the worst team.
That is balanced,
in the country. Somewhere in the middle would make Kirk Ferentz very happy. Speaking of Kirk Ferentz, for the official introduction of the Hawkeye headman, back to Satvik Patel.
Next up is Iowa's Kirk Ferentz. Ferentz led Iowa to a Big Ten West title in 2023 with a 10-4 record and a 7-2 record within the Big Ten. Ferentz enters his 26th season as head coach of the Iowa football program. Coach, we'll begin with your opening statement.
Okay. First of all, just appreciate the opportunity to be here and represent the University of Iowa football program at this event. Certainly, a lot of changes in the college football landscape over the years, and take this opportunity. We have 4 new members joining the conference, so certainly want to welcome them, and that's certainly a sign of the times. And first time ever, our conference goes coast to coast now, so it's going to be a little bit of a different dynamic that way as well. So, a lot of changes. Portal, NIL, transfers, what have you. And certainly there will be more coming. Next couple of years will be really interesting to see. So I think, the biggest takeaway is it's like always, you just have to embrace, change. It is inevitable. It's part of what we do, certainly, and certainly it's part of college football right now. And the other components try to look for opportunity as it fits your program, wherever it is that you are. So, yeah, that is what it is, but I think the best thing about what we do, the basics haven't changed, and the single best part about coaching is being around good people, whether it's the young people, most importantly, you get to work with, or the staff, support staffs, all those different groups, and kind of come together and have a chance to work for common things, and that's really what makes this so enjoyable, and it's special, it's challenging, and then hopefully it's rewarding as well, and I can certainly say it has been. So as we look forward right now, our 2024 team, its first obvious takeaway we have a very sizable senior class, unusually big class that way, and the COVID exemption added to that certainly back in January. Had a lot of guys choose to come back. I think we have a good leadership base with our football team based on the work they've done thus far. And as we get ready to head into camp next week, we're healthy overall, and that's certainly a positive also. So the key thing right now, just like it is every year, is what kind of growth can we demonstrate throughout the month of August, and then certainly as the season goes on as well. Just in a nutshell, defensively, we're about as veteran as I can remember. A lot of good players back, and a lot of guys that have done a great job. And like everybody on our team, we expect those guys to be focused on growth and trying to take on new challenges, because those certainly going to be coming at us. Offensively, certainly a little bit more veteran than we have been, and that's good news for us, especially up front. I think we have the potential to be a good offensive football team, but we still have steps to take, not unlike any season probably. And then special teams in a nutshell, we've got our deep snapper back. That's usually not headline worthy, but it's really important. We've got our place kicker and our kicker back, Drew Stevens. And what is new is we lost our punter, Torrey Taylor, who's an outstanding player. We've got a first-year player named Reese Dawkins taking his spot, and that'll be, just an item of interest to see how he develops. The other thing I think of note with the special teams, losing a player, Cooper DeJean, who's an outstanding defensive player, but also a great punt returner. It's something else I think that's impactful for our football team. So, just in a nutshell, the team has done a really nice job. Since January we got started, they've worked well each step of the way, and I think their focus has been good. So we're looking forward to next week getting together and hitting the field next Wednesday. And really, this is what you work for. This is the most important time for a football team. The next month in preparation for the last 4 months. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and I'll open it up for questions.
We got second row on your right side.
Okay.
Hey, Coach. Will Decker from LA Football Network. After disappointing on offense last year, you guys made the decision to hire Tim Lester as your offensive coordinator. What was the hiring process like, and what makes Tim stand out to you as someone that can get the offense back in a good spot?
Yeah, I think a couple of factors there. We haven't been where we want to be offensively for a couple of years. And, as a coach, you have to evaluate things and be realistic. And certainly last year's an easy thing to point out. Our top three, if you'd asked anybody last year at this time who are our top three offensive players, they weren't there. Basically, we started conference play. So we paid for that. And, but I thought the guys did a great job of playing with what we had and maneuvering their way through and finding a way to win 10 football games. Going through the search process was interesting. A lot of really good people to visit with. I'd say a small group of good people to visit with, and Tim just really stood out. I think he's a really good fit for us. Whether you talk about his personality, but obviously his offensive background, his expertise. Played quarterback, coached quarterbacks, has been a coordinator, and then had a rare opportunity last year to really almost take a coaching sabbatical, if you will, and worked with the Packers and got great exposure to a lot of people offensively, helped out on the defensive side. So I think he comes with a wealth of knowledge. One thing I do appreciate, he's a former head coach. That wasn't a requisite. But I also, quickly in the conversation, I think he's got a deep appreciation for how football works, how offense can complement defense, special teams. Everybody's going to be working on the same, towards the same end. And so that part's all been good. And he's been on campus now since February, very positive, very energetic, good teacher, just a good people person. So he relates well to the staff, the coaches, all the players, and so far so good.
Hi, Kirk. John Steppe, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Hope you're doing well. Kind of along those lines, what have been kind of your biggest impressions from the kind of Shanahan-style offense that Tim has implemented, and how helpful is that visit up to Green Bay as you kind of get ready to implement this in the fall?
Yeah, every exposure is good, whether it's us implementing it and installing it during spring practice or, watching other people do it at a proficient level. And, every offense has its different styles and whatever, but really to me, success in offense still gets down to execution. The guys up front have to block and the receivers have to block. And then, somebody's got to do a good job of getting the ball where it's supposed to. And in the passing game, it's the same thing. People have to get open. They've got to make tough catches. And Quarterback's got to be able to deliver and install all sorts of protection. So
it's like a game.
It's not like you're inventing anything. It's going to be a little bit different, certainly, and but I think our players really took to it quickly. I went through a similar thing in 1996, I guess it would have been. We moved to Baltimore when Ted Marchibroda took over the offense for us. And my takeaway from that was the players learned a lot faster than I did. I was the only guy that was stumbling on things that were in my memory bank. The players just move on pretty quickly, and it's kind of been that way this way too. So it's been a good transition. But all that being said, we've got a lot of work to do here the next 4 weeks.
All the way in the back left.
Hey, Kirk. Chad Leistico, Des Moines Register. Cade McNamara seems to be fully recovered from the torn ACL. He says he's 100%. I guess as you go into fall camp, and then you also got Brendan Sullivan here, Big Ten starter. So as you go into fall camp, do you view Cade as your definitive starter, and if so, why?
Well, I do. I mean, we played against him right here on this field a couple of years ago in December and got to see him that entire season on film. So we had great respect and admiration for him as a player, a competitor. Unfortunately, for our fan base and the media, none of you guys have seen him play full speed thus far in an Iowa uniform. So I'm eager to see him, perform for us this year. Nobody's more eager than he is, and hopefully he's not too eager. The good news regarding the injury, I've told a couple of people already today, back in the 80s, ACL injuries could be unpredictable. No surgery's routine anymore, but fortunately, 30-some years later, the advances in medicine, ACLs, players come back from them all the time without issue, and we anticipate that for Cade. I know he's eager to go, and eager to see Brendan, too, in practice. It'll be fun to work with him. He's been really impressive in the summer program, and a very competitive guy. He's been impressive in a lot of ways, and seems like he's transitioned really well to Iowa City. So, we're eager to see all of our guys out there, but the quarterback position will be something of note for sure.
First row on your right side.
Coach Lynn Harrington, Stay Alive Power 5. How you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing all right, man. Good to see you again.
Likewise.
So to follow up on what you were talking about with Tim Lester, can you go more in depth on his relationships with the quarterbacks on the roster and the impact that he's had on the offense as a whole in the short amount of time he's been there?
Yeah, it's hard to judge impact because we haven't played anybody yet, but see a lot of positive things. And, not to oversimplify things, but I've been at Iowa now. It's my 35th year coming up. Going back to the 80s, I think one common theme, when we play well up front and we get good quarterback play, we've got a chance to become a good offense. That's kind of been a common denominator. And we haven't had that opportunity the last couple of years. I think we're finally in a position where maybe that is realistic, and we're certainly hopeful we'll know more here in a couple of weeks. But Tim's fit in really well. I mean, he's just a high-energy guy. He's got really, I think, a good grasp of what he wants to do, a good vision of where he wants to go, and he's been very interactive with everybody in the staff in terms of, what do you think, what do you guys see, all those types of things. And to me, that's the quality of a good coach and a good leader, and he's certainly in a leadership role. So his transition's been very, very seamless, and it's been very natural. And again, he's a player, just from my observations, or a coach that players tend to gravitate towards. And then he did play the position. He's coached it for a long time, so he does have a level of expertise with the quarterback spot that's, I'm not saying he's right or wrong with his opinions, but I'm just saying he's firm on what he believes, and he's been pretty successful. So the players have really jumped in full bore with him, and that's what you hope to see with any coach.
On your right side, Coach.
Yep. Coach Adam Jacoby, Hawkeye Beacon. Thanks for your time today. Sticking with the QBs, the depth chart that was just released had McNamara, then Linez, then Sullivan. Would you say that's still a pretty fluid situation, 1 through 3, with the quarterbacks at this point?
Yeah, I'd say everything's fluid right now. Hopefully it won't be in the fall, but right now everything's fluid. And we could have listed Brandon too. He hasn't put a helmet on yet for us, so when we see him on the field, then maybe he'll be in competition with the other 3 guys. But I expect it to be 3 guys competing. And Cade obviously has got more experience than any of them. He's had more demonstrated success. That gives him a huge advantage. But all 3 guys will compete, and it's the same way at every roster spot right now. We don't have anybody that's at, nobody's just entitled to positions. It just doesn't work that way.
On your back left, Coach.
Hi, Kirk. Scott Docterman with The Athletic. Wanted to ask you about
tight end Luke Lachey. You've had a good reputation of developing a lot of NFL tight ends. How does he kind of compare and contrast with some of the ones that came before him, and what's his upside this year?
Two things about Luke and Scott. You know him, so this will resonate. He's just one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's unbelievably just a nice human being, a really first-class guy. I think we all suspect and know that he's a really good football player, but I think maybe as impressive as anything I saw was just the way he handled a very disappointing injury last year. He was fully engaged, fully immersed, and did a great job working with the other guys that were playing where he was supposed to be playing. So that's as high a compliment, and that's why he's here right now. The team selected him as one of our leaders, and it's not even close. I mean, he's up there at the top. So he's just a great quality young guy, and he's all about the team. He's an outstanding football player. And one thing, we have had a lot of great tight ends come through our place. You look at a guy like George Kittle, who really has continued to improve, and he's playing at a much higher level, was starting to play at a much higher level at age 25 than he was at 21. And that's what good players do. They just keep getting better. But the one common takeaway, or if you look at all the tight ends we've had, they all come in different sizes, speeds, makeups, but they've all found ways to really impact the game, and Luke certainly fits that. He's more of a conventional tight end, can block in line, but also be a real threat in the passing game.
Final question on your left, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Mark Holkin, WeAreSC.com, part of the Locked On USC podcast network as well. Before the bowl season started, you had talked about USC and how they used to play defense. What was the genesis behind that comment, and have you had a chance to talk to Lincoln Riley since then?
I have not, and it was just a takeaway from a bowl game they played in a couple of years ago. Drive-by scouting, if you will, which is dangerous. But it's a curiosity to me that, because I know they've got good athletes, and we've played them, and, they're a tough football team, at least they were when we played them 5 years ago. So my guess is, I know they've taken some steps, and my guess is they're going to be we don't play them this year, so it's not our concern, but, they're going to be a factor in our conference race. I'll go on a limb, make that bold prediction that they'll be there when it's all said and done. Yep.
Coach Ferentz, thank you so much for your time.
Interesting ending question, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
I do remember him making that remark, and he handled that right. Well, he was accurate. Their defense has been horrible. In the game he brought up, Iowa scored 49 points in that game. USC's been horrible on defense.
They have.
Despite having really good recruits.
And despite having really good offenses.
Yes. So how would you describe those 15 minutes?
I would describe it as pretty typical.
Yeah.
And what you were hearing in the background, it was cheering, but they were showing clips of Iowa.
Oh, okay. Wasn't it weird, though? I thought I was hearing things at first.
It wasn't for me because I knew what it was. But.
Oh, okay, yeah. But when you're just listening to it without seeing the video, it was weird. But yeah, no, that was. And the depth charts, I know I'm. What'd that one guy say? He was from Hawkeye Beacon?
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I thought he was from the Rivals account. Did the Rivals account change its name?
I don't know. Instead of Go Iowa Awesome or whatever it is.
Well, I could see why. I mean, Go Iowa Awesome's
They did change their name, Tommy?
To Hawkeye Beacon?
It's Iowa Rivals.
Well, it's the Iowa Rivals site, but the name itself used to be Go Iowa Awesome because that's the site they bought. Do you like that title, Go Iowa Awesome?
No,
I don't
not
either.
at all.
I always feel sorry for the guy. Hey, yeah, Coach, so-and-so from Go Iowa Awesome. Now, if I'm them, I just say Iowa Rivals. I don't just say but obviously people are going to make something out of the fact that Sullivan's, but it means nothing. The depth chart means nothing right now.
No.
McNamara is the starter, of course. I mean, he was the starter last year. And, I mean, the thing they fall back on, even though he did not play well last year, is they're going to say, well, he was never healthy because of the soft tissue injury. Okay, you've got that so far. They still have that to fall back on. But I think it was more than that. I think even with a soft tissue injury, that offense was a mess last year.
Yeah, Hawkeye Beacon, Iowa Rivals. Yeah.
So, yeah, well, I could see why they want to change from Go Iowa Awesome. That's a silly title.
Well, I concur.
Silly.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else Hawkeye-wise?
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. This has been a freaking grinder. But we started late.
This has been a grinder. Jesus Christ.
They're all grinders in a way, aren't they? Every morning you're in here grinding, aren't you?
How many other radio shows / podcasts are talking about Grandpa Happy?
Well,
honestly.
Probably none.
I would say none.
I bet he would go Iowa. He was
So,
very positive.
So if you say go Grandpa Happy in the Quad Cities, they know right away what you're talking about?
Yes. Well, my age. Yeah, they would.
Okay.
Jesus.
All right.
I think he died in 90.
Oh, that long ago?
I
Okay.
think so. I don't remember.
All right. I'd never heard of Grandpa. But, of course, I lived in Des Moines, so his reputation never stretched. Well,
of course, you had someone named Grandpa Miserable in Des Moines.
Yeah,
didn't
we
you?
did.
Yeah.
Imagine that, Grandpa Miserable.
Yeah,
Not sure which one would be more creepy.
Dwayne and Floppy.
Yeah. Well, Dwayne and Floppy was everywhere, weren't they?
Yeah.
No. I don't remember.
it was just on Channel 13.
Was it really just Central Iowa? I don't remember watching that as a kid.
It would come in sometimes if it's storm in the Quad Cities.
I just don't remember ever watching that much as a kid.
They used to have a puppet do the weather on Channel 9.
He was great. Donovan? He was
Donovan.
So you're talking about in the Quad Cities?
No, Channel 9 in See Here.
I loved that.
Donovan does the weather.
I absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
What kind of dog was it?
Just kind of like a hound.
Then he had a show called Kidsville.
Yeah.
What about that
It's time for
What about that
Kidsville
insult? I like the
fun
insult
and
dog.
laughter. It's your dudes we're after. Time for Kidsville
All right, I
now.
Got it.
Yeah.
How about the insult dog? What's his name?
Triumph.
The insult dog. You ever heard him?
Yes.
God, he's hilarious.
Where do you think I've
What was this thing? He was at some street event. Oh, Star Wars convention. Outside and just ripping these kids being losers who never get laid and just nasty, mean stuff. I mean, some of the people, he hurt their feelings. Others joked with him. Others were angry.
Well,
He's like, hey, what part of your mom's basement do you... I mean, just really mean stuff. I had never heard of him before. So where does he appear on?
he appeared.
Oh, so he was a skit on Conan O'Brien?
Yeah.
Had you ever heard of him, Suter?
No.
Triumph, the
Comic insult dog.
No, never heard of him.
Okay, he's mean.
Hello.
Hello. Channel 2 used to have Marshall J.
Yes. I used to watch Marshall
And
J.
Channel 9 had Sheriff Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
God, I
wish
lived in
Grandpa
Central
Happy
Iowa.
a good day for me.
I will do that.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Did you guys have the riverbank?
Hammy, yes.
Yeah.
The hamsters?
Yeah, that
I remember watching that as a real young kid.
That sucked.
And then they had something like it on Nickelodeon that Shane
I liked the
watched.
riverbank when I was
When
like
he
3.
like teeny. Yeah.
I'd watch it with my dog Chipper. We'd sit and watch the riverbank on some little tiny black and white TV.
Shane never wanted to watch like Sesame Street.
I never watched Sesame Street.
We would get up.
At least I don't remember.
On the weekends, we watch USA Cartoon Express, which had like 13 cartoons. They'd keep running.
How about 1, 2, 3 with Dolph Pulliam?
We didn't have that.
He's a former Drake player.
I remember Dolph Pulliam.
Dolph was a TV.
I love
Let's go
Dolph.
bowling with Bob Brooks.
I love Dolph
I
Pulliam.
remember my dad saying that Dolph Pulliam was one of the toughest centers he ever saw in basketball. I mean, obviously Jabbar was great, but Dolph, I mean, he went up against Jabbar in that national. Dolph was like 6'4".
Yeah.
My dad said he's one of the greatest rebounders he ever saw.
Hello.
Hey, Cap. How about Captain Ernie and the Cartoon Showboat?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds like a 60s.
He was my friend. He would do all of our stunts and crap at KFMH.
Yeah?
Yeah. I just say, hey, do you want to be a judge? And he'd go, yeah. You're a great guy.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought you were from the Davenport area.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Take care, guys.
Yeah,
Go Hawks.
Thank you. Go Hawks.
Yeah. Haven't been there for some time, but
But yeah, no, Kirk's speech today was very predictable. I mean, it was that question at the end was that guy was asking is probably a pissed off USC. They thought it was a slight, and it did come across. But you know, Kirk handled it well. I mean, and if that's the worst thing Kirk Ferentz says about USC, then but to me, if I'm USC, you got to own it. Your defense is terrible. It has been terrible, and there's really no excuse for it with the way they recruit.
No. There really isn't.
I watched them a couple times last year, and they had Caleb Williams and had trouble winning games because their defense was so
Their
bad.
defense was indescribably bad, like our offense.
Yes, I mean, you'd watch USC on defense, undisciplined, just broken assignments. They were the polar opposite of Iowa. But yet, I bet if you took all their recruit stars from high school, it wouldn't even be close.
They would dwarf us.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what's incredible about what Iowa does. So we'll see. All right, we done?
I would say we're done.
I'm hungry.
I'm guessing Tommy is ready with his police reports.
I would hope so.
You're going to see the grind continues for you. Suter and I are done.
The grind.
All right.
That's the station nickname. The grind.
The grind.
Yeah.
Well, why not? All right, hawkfanatic.com. Check it out. It's free.
From the Harty and Stalker Studios in the heart